Hey, in this lesson, we're gonna learn how to do figure eights. So in a previous lesson, we had learned how to do spins, right? And this was, can you identify what type of spin this is? This is an inward outside spin, right? This is an inward inside spin. So what a figure eight does is it just goes from the inside to the outside constantly while staying in the same direction as far as inward or outward goes, right? So I would be here and I'd flip it. So if I'm doing a outside inward spin and then I flip it to the inside, right? And now when I flip 1, 2, and I go back and forth, this makes it a figure eight, right? You can kind of see that sideways 8 or infinity sign being drawn with the chucks. And so that's what I'm doing with a figure eight, is I'm just going from one side, spinning one side, and then spinning on the other side. And now we could do this with our inward. We can do this with our outward, right? Notice how the top half of the spinning circle is going out and away from us, but I'm going from the inside to the outside, to the inside, to the outside, constantly, okay? And now there's also different types of figure eights, inward and outward, right? So this is what I would classify as a small, and this would be an outward figure eight. Now the reason I call it small is because the rotation point is right at the tip of my chuck, which creates a small, when you look at it from the side, a circle. Now, we've got other ones. Now I can rotate it at my wrist. This would be kind of a medium. Sometimes I'll call this a big one because I don't do the whole shoulder one very often, but it's a slightly bigger. You can see now the rotation point is at my wrist. It's still an outward figure eight, right? But the rotation point changed. Here's the rotation point for a small one, is at the end. And then for a larger one, I go at my wrist. Now I can make this even bigger and go at my entire shoulder joint or my entire arm, right? So this would really be a big one. This is kind of a medium one, but I don't typically do this one too much. So you will probably hear me refer to this version as a large one, just because I don't do the other one very much. So big, small, right? Same thing from this angle, I'm doing it. This is an inward figure eight. I'm going from inside to outside constantly. And then I can make it bigger by rotating at my wrist joint. It's also a pretty good warm up for your wrists. If you want to get a really good forearm workout, stay with the smaller figure eight and try to go really fast. You'll feel your forearm start to burn, or you can go and get a good warm up into your wrist by rolling it around as you're doing it. So these are just a few different versions of figure eights, but I want you to really make sure that you know the difference between outward and inward. A lot of people struggle with this, especially the inwards. They typically will kind of do a little bit and then it ends up reverting back to an outward. So make sure that you can tell the difference for yourself if you're doing an inward figure eight or an outward figure eight, and then play around going between a small figure eight and a larger one, and even larger if you would like to do that and if you have the space.